Hey everybody, welcome back. HSC Podcast 147. Big Box Steve on the mic. Got Big Smooth and Fresh Wes. He's yawning and we just started. Usually he waits till about the last 20 minutes, but it's already happening.
Just ate a big meal, man. It's like makes me tired.
Did you have a steak?
I
I'll do
have
it
pork
too.
chops. Pork
Oh,
chops.
pork chops will do it. Pork chops will do
Any applesauce with that?
Yep. Applesauce.
Well, I mean, let's just be real about one thing. Pork chops and applesauce is pretty good.
What was that?
If you don't like pork chops and applesauce, get off our podcast,
And man, Peter Brady, right?
right? Oh yeah. Oh, now you're gonna go back to the Brady Bunch.
Pork chops and applesauce.
All right. Well, we're gonna get into it today. We're gonna go talk about March Madness, finish up the tournament, Final Four, and NFL update, and then into our weekly movie review. Unfortunately, we give a little moment of silence for Val Kilmer. Thank you. That's our moment of silence, but we will be reviewing Val Kilmer next week. So don't forget to subscribe and like and listen to next week's Val Kilmer stuff. But here it is. Let's get into March Madness. We're in Final Four. I mean, this is so for the first time since what year? 2000,
2008.
2008. It's all number one seeds in the Final Four.
And
And
hopefully
we're gonna give our
2008.
picks.
Sorry,
2000,
hopefully for 2000, like 2008, Wes picks the wrong national
Dude,
champion,
stop. It's not
and
my
I picked
it
the
is
right one because
whatever.
I had Kansas that year.
Did you have Kansas?
Oh
That's
yeah.
right. But that's so like don't tell. Derrick Rose misses those free throws. They got like a point lead with 50 seconds left. And Chalmers hits
look,
the most lucky shot ever.
Free throws matter
it was crazy to
I would have won $1,500 on that.
dude to watch Rose miss those free
Oh
throws.
God. This is
Do you
nice.
remember watching that?
Oh
I remember
yeah.
yeah.
watching that.
I was like, what are you doing?
It's like a train wreck.
You guys are so much more talented. Like you're like controlled the whole game and just blew those free throws.
I was at the refectory after the game having my celebratory prime rib.
That was brutal though. Like because Derrick Rose is not the greatest free throw shooter, but missing those the way he did. What was it, three or four?
Something like that. I
I think he
blocked it
missed
out.
three of the four, and they lost the game.
That
But
team was so ridiculous though. It's like they're just that was
okay,
just
well let's kind of compare the number one. So we got Auburn, Florida, we got Duke, Houston. Of the four teams, who is the best like national champion? Like if you say who's the most complete team, who plays defense, who plays offense, big all around, of those four teams right now, what's the best?
not Houston.
It's not Houston? Like I think Houston is
I
number two, to be honest.
I think Houston fundamentally is the best team, but I'm just talking about like fundamentally, I think the way they're coached by, they play the same way. They play very disciplined basketball. They don't turn the ball over. Um,
No, very rarely.
they don't turn the ball over. Yeah, I just everybody else that Derek's more of an expert on Florida than I am. So
No,
let's hear
no,
Derek.
he's not an expert on Florida. He just likes Florida, so he's always going to pick Florida. But
I would
this,
say Duke,
wait, so for
probably.
Wes, my question to you is there a better defensive team than Houston in the Final Four?
Um, I like the way Auburn's been playing defense. Fundamentally, yes, I think Houston is, but Broom is such a difference maker. the way he could just control the middle and those guards really get after it, and it gives them the liberty to come up and really take some chances getting into passing lanes. Um, but yeah, fundamentally, I think Houston's, you know,
I agree. Like I think Houston is defensively. If you look at the four teams, you said what's the best defensive team in the Final Four right now? I would say it's Houston. Doesn't mean they have the rest of the game. Doesn't mean they have, the offense to win the game because that's going to matter, right? So even if you play great defense, you still got to score points.
Right, and that's what's Houston is every year, the best defense team in the, but then they can't shoot.
But
or they,
so do you agree then, Derek? Are they still the best defensive team?
I would say so.
But balanced team,
I
I'm
have
going to
to.
say this because Derek will already agree with it. So let's hear what Derek has to say. Why is Florida the best balanced team?
Um, well, because they have inside and outside scoring, they have defense all. The problem with the issue with Florida has been is they've been erratic early, and then they just decide. Then when you see them actually decide, like turn it on, then it's like, oh man. But like their bigs. So Toppin had 20 and Williams had 23. Sounds great. But Toppin was 9 of 22 and well, Williams was 9 of 18. So 50% and less than 50% uh, for the two big men for Texas Tech. So they got their points, but it took a lot of shots to do it.
Well, yeah, okay, but that we're what's how do they match up with Auburn though and Johanny Broom?
Well, that's the thing is they have the big men that don't have to double Broom, and that's what Auburn needs is someone like when they play teams, their offense moves, the flow of their offense moves better when Broom is double teamed and he could pass it out
Right.
and move it around.
Well, I'm almost going to disagree here because I don't know that Florida has a single defender that can one-on-one guard Broom.
I mean, Condon could get a body on him, but yeah, I think Broom would most likely win that matchup.
You're talking about a top three player in the country.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's not like they haven't played against big time bigs already this
Right.
tournament. I
No,
mean,
but
Derek
my question
Queen.
is do you think Florida has a guy that can single cover Broom?
To the point, well, that's what I'm trying to say. I mean, if Toppin needs to take 22 shots and only make 9, he's
Right.
not having a very good game. If
Yeah.
we can live with that, you can live with that if Broom shoots like that.
Right.
He's not going to get other people open that way.
I mean, it's like I think you're going to have to, when it comes to Broom, you want, he's going to get his. You want to make sure everybody else doesn't beat you.
Yeah, that's a
And I
really good
think, and
point.
I think you're crashing. You want to crash out on everybody else. Don't double. Let him get his points, and then just outscore him.
So you're okay with Broom going 27 and 12, right? 27
Yeah.
points, 12 rebounds.
Yeah.
Because what you're saying is that if he's the only one doing it
Yeah.
and you stop the rest of their team, Florida then is going to have enough balance to overcome that.
Well, I think that's your best bet. I mean, you certainly don't want to double Broom, and then guys start hitting threes and getting, and getting into transition buckets. I mean,
Right.
I think Florida's core offensively, when you start talking about Walter Clayton Jr., it and Will Richards, in transition, and the other complementary players. I think if you put those players up against Auburn and you get into a shooting contest and a run and gun, Florida's going to win.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Well, to put the point, the only game they played against each other that Florida won, Broome had 18 points, and he was 8 of 19 shooting.
Right.
And
Okay.
Condon had 17, Hawk had 16. So the bigs,
That's not normal for Condon, though. That's a big game for him. 17? Like he's a 12 or 11 average.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, that's all I'm saying is that I think that's a time where Florida bigs played well, but I actually like what Wes is saying here because you let Jabrani or Jahani, dude, I can't pronounce his name, but Johnny Broom, um, let him do his own thing all game, right?
Well,
And then,
you just don't want to double on too much.
right.
I mean,
Don't
I
double
guess
him. Let him do his own
yeah.
thing, and then you get out on offense, run the floor, and you'll score a lot more points. So I think that's a good game plan for Florida because let's say Johnny Broom gets his points, and then the other guys start hitting. Now you're in trouble.
right? But if you get Hawk and Condon involved in the offense, that makes Broom have to play defense,
Right.
which takes away from his offensive game.
Yeah, you know who did a real good job of that was when Tennessee played Texas Tech. Was it Texas? No, Houston. And they made a good job of the Tennessee guy making him play defense. Lanier? No, not
Yeah.
Lanier. Was
Yeah,
it
it's Lanier.
Lanier? It's
Yeah.
Lanier. So you remember how they like were running him all over the court, and
Yeah.
then when he was coming back on offense, he was so tired he was missing shots.
And in college, it's a different game. It's 5 fouls and you're out. So if you
Right.
get 2 fouls, you're done for pretty much the half.
Well, that happened to Juwan Roberts, but they still were killing Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I think Houston's so dangerous. Like you got LJ and Juwan Roberts, man. That's brutal.
Prior gets yeah. I mean,
I
but
just, like you said though, if it's a close game with like 3 minutes or something to go, who do you want most? And I would say it's Clayton Jr. right now.
Oh, right now for 100%. Like if you
yeah.
look at the four teams that are available, their best player, I would take Clayton Jr.
But you know that Auburn they're now if we're just gonna talk about it on the how do you defend Walter Clayton as a in a sense how you kind of like looking at how you defend Broom, how do you defend Clayton? Do you let now here's
Well,
the thing.
wait. Let's just talk about is it Baker Miraz? What's his name?
Yeah, Baker Maraza.
He is a great defender. Okay, he's a very underrated defender, and I think he can guard Walter Clayton Jr. What
Okay.
I think Clayton needs to do is distribute the ball. I
That's
think
what
if he distributes early, then he'll get shots later. Like he'll get his points. Like he'll hit that 15, 16 to 17 points,
yeah.
but it won't be in the first half. What he needs to do is distribute the ball early, right? To get Condon, Richard, those other guys the baskets early.
Make Broom work on the other wait
Yeah,
for
and
the
on
defense.
the defensive end. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where you need the bigs of Florida to be more aggressive offensively and make Broom work. So, Wes, who do you think's the best player of these two teams? So, Auburn, Florida, best player on the court.
Best player. We're talking two different players here.
That
I
I'm giving. That's why I was trying to make it hard for you.
it is hard. It's really hard. I gotta say Walter Clayton, just because in transition, distributing the basketball, hitting big threes, um, inside outside. Broom, of course, could hit threes. He could shoot.
He's
Um,
big and he hits
he could
threes.
take you outside, and
Yeah,
then he could beat you up inside. Um,
you're still gonna take Clayton?
God. Yeah, I'm gonna take Clayton.
All right. I mean, Derek, I think you're taking
Well,
Clayton,
I'm
but
just
I'll
saying
ask.
that for this tournament, who's
No,
playing the
no, player.
I
Just player.
Just
Who's
player.
the better player? Best player between these two teams.
well, isn't Broom like a freshman? So he's got the most talent, right? I mean, if we're taking like who you taking right now,
Yeah.
I'm taking Clayton Jr.
Yeah.
He hasn't had a bad game this tournament at all.
How
He's
how
saved.
does that how does that translate to the NBA?
It's Steph Curry.
You think Walter
He's
Clayton
not.
Jr.
He's
Steph
not.
Curry?
He's.
No, okay, yeah. Just let's
But
get
he's
that
got the
straight.
same game.
Yeah.
Shoot, it's a little different than it used to be. Like he has a place in the NBA. I mean, you don't see Curry driving to the basket that much. He's just shooting, right?
You know what Walter Clayton reminds me of? CJ McCollum.
I
You
Well,
think
know, really
shooting.
good off the pull-up jumper, hits the three in your face, plays decent defense. Like he's a CJ McCollum,
I think
okay.
he's a better 3-point shooter than McCollum, though.
probably.
Yeah.
But they're similar. But what I will say is I think Broom is more, I hate this term, but we'll just use it, generational player
Yeah.
than Walter Clayton. Because when Broom goes outside and hits threes a lot, right? And he's inside, he's tough inside, he rebounds really well. I mean, he's hit almost 10 rebounds most games in the tournament,
He
right?
had 14 in the last game.
Right. It's nuts.
Yeah.
So he he's got so much inside and outside ability. I love Walter Clayton, but I have to take Broom as the best player of these two teams.
Okay, so if you have one game and you need one player to help you win a game right now, not for the future, but right now, who are you taking?
What's the score? Because if I need a three, I'm taking Clayton.
You
If
just
I need
said
a
Broom is a
two,
great
I'm
three-point
taking
shooter,
Broom.
though. Yeah.
No, I'm seriously. If I need a three, I'm taking Clayton. If I need a two, I'm taking Broom.
But if you need a two, you could just shoot a three and it'll be fine.
You still win, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough for me, but so I still have Florida winning. So I'm not going against Florida here. So what do you guys got? So I got Florida in game one. Derek, we know you got Florida. So Wes, what do you got? Florida, Auburn.
I got Florida too, just because of course Broom's gonna get his. I just think complementary, like the role players, there's Florida's better.
Right.
Well, Clayton's gonna distribute the ball like you were talking about early. If he's gonna hit big shots if it's close. I think they keep it close. I think Broom keeps them close. I think the other guy. I mean, last game, but I mean,
Well, Cheney Johnson, dude, he played good. He played really good, dude.
yeah.
That's a tough defend for Florida, by the way. Cheney Johnson.
I mean, they got to play better than they did against Michigan State. The role players. I
Yeah,
mean, nobody had more than 10 points except Pettiford.
right.
He's the only player in double digits. Broom
But
can't do that.
Pettiford, that he's had good games, be honest. Like that was one of his worst games in the last couple, right?
Yeah.
Pettiford can go for 20. So if Pettiford hits 20 and Broom hits 30, you're in trouble.
Yeah, they could. Yeah, that could spell trouble for them. Yes, it's just a matter of how Florida is going to defend the perimeter.
Right.
Is okay. How are you going to, are you going how they're just going to um what you allow Broom to do and what you allow him not to do. What are you willing to give up?
So I think they double team him. I think it's going to depend on Auburn's ability to hit threes off the double team, right? I think they're gonna Broom will probably start off quick, 6, 8 points in the first couple minutes. They'll start double teaming him, And then if Auburn hits the threes or misses the threes, that's what the game's going to be.
I don't think they didn't double Queen. They let Queen get like 26. How'd that game turn out, right?
Yeah, Queen's trash. No, I'm just kidding. He's not Broom. He's not trash. He's just not Broom.
Right.
Is it Queen a freshman too?
Yeah, I mean he's young.
But they let him get his points and
Right.
they didn't
Do
double.
that with Queen in 2 or 3 years. That'll be different.
Well, they just start, I mean, they don't need to double. Uh, because they have Condon, they've got Hawk,
Yeah, bodies.
they have bodies.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to be a good short because I'm telling you right now, they're going to double Broom.
Mm.
I think at points in the game they will.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I think they're just not gonna.
Not the whole game. They're mostly going to play straight up.
No, what they'll do is they'll play straight up at the beginning. Broom will score 6 or 8 points, and then they'll start doubling.
Mm. They'll double once in a while, but not like consistently.
Because once he gets off, if he gets off early, he's dangerous. That's the key.
But I'm saying that's what's going to happen is you're going to have Chinulu hardly played and Condon and Hawk. There's guys that can body. I mean, he's going to have to work on the defensive end.
Well, Condon needs to step up,
Well, he had an ankle injury too.
right? So, because he's been up and down in the tournament.
Right. Well, Hawk is the one that stepped up.
Yeah. Oh man, he's not Wolf and Golden from Michigan, but he's close. You know what I mean? You know how they have that big men mentality where they got great footwork and they can score from anywhere on the floor. That's what Hawk is, but he's not quite as good as them. But man, he showed some good stuff last game.
And what Florida, the thing is and this is history, and we'll talk Memphis, Kansas. What was Memphis? A bunch of freshmen, right? Young players.
Like Fab Five.
Almost, the Florida, their three guards are all seniors.
Okay.
I mean, Martin was on Florida Atlantic when they made it to the Final Four. So they have experience. And that's why when you see at the end of games, they don't fold.
Which is why we've all picked Florida. I'm not gonna no spoiler here, but Florida's my national championship. That's Derek's national championship. But let's go down to the next bracket with Wes's national championship. So we got Duke and Houston. This is a interesting game to me. I think if you're gonna watch a game, the Final Four, this is going to be the game to watch. So first, Wes, tell us why you think Houston, because you got them winning.
Why Houston?
Uh-huh.
Defense, consistency, taking care of the basketball. Um, kind of like the kind of like the older model how you won basketball championships, and that's just the way Sampson coaches. I think Cryer is good enough to get up to put up 25 on you
What a
in the
great
right
coach.
situation.
What a great coach.
And they got an inside game. Their spacing's great. I didn't realize that Duke was going to be this good. That's why it's very hard for me to still take them, because I don't see an answer for guarding Cooper Flag. They have to be very fortunate. Someone's gonna have to get in foul trouble, whether it's Flag or Proctor. And they're gonna have to turn the ball. They have to get careless with basketball. The Duke's get their role players are gonna have to play subpar when it comes to hitting threes, I think, for Houston to win. But you never know, that could happen. It's Duke. Duke has blown a lot of national semifinal games and national championship games. They haven't won in 10 years.
You're attacking the Duke fans right now. So wait a minute.
Them?
Just to be clear, so you're saying if Houston can keep Duke out of the paint, but if Duke hits the threes, they're still going to win.
If Duke hits threes, it's very, very, this percentage becomes very low for Houston winning.
Right.
And again, you could another situation where you allow Flag, if Flag's going to get his 20, 25, and 10. But I would focus, the X factor means Proctor.
Right.
Um, and the outside shooting. And honestly, Houston can't have dry spells. They haven't had too many. They didn't, I mean, Tennessee, it's like Tennessee played terrible. And Houston kind of was like, they were within 10 points towards
Well,
the
wait,
end of
wait,
the
wait,
game.
wait, wait. First, did Houston play terrible, or did Tennessee play terrible, or did Houston play good defense?
Well, Houston played good perimeter defense, but you don't go 1 for 14. They had more misses than they had points, basically, in the first half.
Do you remember though how many of those threes that they missed were contested?
No, I don't.
Most of them. So that I yes, I think Tennessee shot worse than they normally would, but Houston was contesting those threes almost 75% of the time. So a contested three is much different than an open three, right?
Right, yeah.
So if Houston can contest Duke's threes the same way they did Tennessee's, doesn't that put them in the same position?
It could it's a favorable position to be in if you contest their threes.
Right.
But again, Tennessee also could have been just having a really bad game, and Duke might hit half those, or hell, a quarter of them in the first half, and
Yeah.
they'll be right there. And then that's the position you don't want to be in.
Okay, so then who do you got? You got Duke or you got Houston?
I'm rolling through Houston still.
Yeah. What's your spread?
What's what are you, total points or
No,
how much are they
Houston.
going to win by?
I got Houston by
The
how many
lowest
points?
margin possible beating Duke.
0.5.
That way.
He
Like
says
two.
Houston by 0.5.
Like two. Like, can we give
Well,
him a
they're the
half a
underdog,
point?
right? So does he have to put a?
No, you don't.
They
Like
just
just money
covering.
line. So you're money line Houston. That's what you are. All right. All right, Derek. Do you agree? Disagree? What do you think?
Oh, it's tough. Well, the thing is, Houston has burned me every year because they look great and then their offense just falls apart. Duke, we're talking three-pointers that, they beat Alabama by 20,
Brutal.
only made six three-pointers and only took 14 of them. The thing for Houston to win is they have to get into the Duke's bench. Because Duke wins by 20 against Alabama, and their starters are playing the whole game almost.
Yeah.
So
But
they don't have much bench.
was it TCU? No, Baylor. They played Baylor. Dude, they had their bench in half the game.
Yeah, but this, against Alabama, every starter played over 30 minutes except one, and then your top bench guy was 14 minutes, and then everyone else after that was six or lower.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
so
you're
like,
saying they got to tire them out?
yeah, because I don't think, dude, like you had Sears go 2 for 12. And I don't think that was good defense. I just think Alabama was bricking shots.
Right. I mean, they did. They missed a lot.
Yeah,
So,
you go past like five James played 27, then you get past Foster and their bench is pretty light. And so yeah, foul trouble is you want to try to
Well,
hit them in foul trouble.
here's an issue. So, Derek, this is what I mean. You're talking about this though. You're talking about you have to speed up the game against Duke, right? You got to get
Yeah.
their bench involved. But now you're talking about they're playing Houston, who is not that team. They're a defensive team.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. They gotta play. Well, defense makes you when you're playing offense against a team that plays great defense, it tires you out because you have to run a bunch more. You have to move around a bunch more to get open. Um, but because Houston, they go what, 10 deep?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're the deepest team in the tournament, regardless.
But they're just playing the most people with the
Yeah, I
most.
guess they only went 8 deep against Tennessee, but still, what I'd like to see is them go take a page out of Nolan Richardson and just go
40 minutes of hell.
40 minutes of hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just run them. Yeah.
Is that the only way Houston can beat Duke, or who's the favorite? So, what's your pick?
I'm taking Houston because of so I know it makes no sense because they beat Alabama by 20,
Yeah,
but Duke is prone to turn the ball over. So if you can capitalize on those turnovers, I mean, they beat Alabama by 20, but they had uh, 14 turnover or yeah, 14 turnovers by their starters. Yeah, I don't think you can do that against Houston. They're going to capitalize on
yeah,
that.
you definitely can.
So I'm gonna take Houston. I think Duke's had the easiest road out of all the teams,
Duke definitely has the easiest
and they
road.
haven't had a test. No one's tested them yet. So that's why I'm taking Houston. And then they're gonna let me down once again because they won't play any good offense. But
No, it's like always like 8 minutes left in the fourth, like in the second half, and they can't hit a basket. And then then they hit a few, but it's like those dry spells. They can't have those dry spells.
I think you're right, dude. I think that's what they're going to run into, right? I think they're going to hit these dry spells like Tennessee did against them. Because there's times where you look at Tennessee and you're like, they should have beat Houston. But then it's because they just missed every shot in the world. Like
but that's because of Houston's good defense, is what
you
you
might
said.
say that, but at some point when you're watching that game, you're like, it's almost improbable that you can miss that many shots. There's at one point where you're watching the game and you're like, I don't think they could miss this next one. There's no way. And they missed it again.
But here was the difference. That was great defense. Look at what Alabama did. My goodness, they were putting up bricks, sit the whole game.
Yeah. I think there was a little bit of nerves, to be honest with you, with the about Alabama game. They looked very hesitant to me. And I think it was like, act like you've been here before. And Duke has been here before.
Well, Houston's been here before too, but they always choke. So maybe this
So
might,
that's what you might see here in this Houston game.
or they've learned from their mistakes and have finally.
Okay. Well, I'm still going to go with Houston. You know why?
Oh my God, I'll go with the Houston.
So it's going to be Auburn, Duke in the finals.
Oh,
No. It's going to be Florida, Houston. The reason I'm taking Houston, and hear me out here, Juwan Roberts. He's the oldest man in the league, and I don't think Duke has a veteran big guy that can really stop him. So if he stays out of foul trouble, I think Juwan Roberts wins this game. So I'm taking Houston,
we're all picking against Duke.
which might be dumb, but you know what? Screw Cooper Flag.
Well, we know Steve's going to because he's UNC all the way. So
I hate Duke. Well, just like you're picking Florida because you love Florida. So
yeah, but I mean, the
yeah,
thing that the difference between Duke and Florida, like Duke's had it easy, and that might be that they're that good, and that's why they have it easy. But they haven't had a close game, right? where it seems like Florida I mean, they had to play UConn in the second round.
Yeah, that's tough. That was tough.
And then Maryland, I mean, Maryland game wasn't, that was actually, they kind of ran away with that one in the second half. In the first half, it was close and then they took over. But yeah, and then Texas Tech. So,
That's a pretty rough road. You're right. You're right. But it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, it's the same. And it's how they're going to match up against, who they're playing.
yeah.
To be honest, I think Florida has a tougher matchup with Auburn.
I do too.
I think that's going to be the game to watch. Like, if you're going to watch a game on the Final Four, Auburn, Florida, is going to be fun to watch. So I got Florida, Houston, Florida, Houston. We're all the same.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's our final four. And we'll get back to you now. We're going to go to the NFL update. So keep watching. Get ready for that.